Let's do some midweek musings. This is actually Tuesday night. I plan on uploading this episode Wednesday morning, so it'll be midweek exactly. But I'm going to be on the road traveling tomorrow, so would have a pretty hard time trying to get the episode done and uploaded while I was traveling to Nashville. Nashville seems to be a pretty important place for me. I'm going Wednesday through Friday for a work-related retreat in Nashville, and then of course this weekend in Tennessee you've got the GCW shows back to back Saturday and Sunday. In Tullahoma on Saturday you've got GCW Wombat 2, and then on Sunday in Nashville you've got Long Live GCW, and of course I'll be going to both of those. So yeah, I'll be calling Tennessee home for a good part of the week. And so that all starts tomorrow. But for tonight, for this evening, there's still a pretty good portion of information and news and just all around talk that I wanted to cover. First, I wanted to go back and talk about last week's AEW Dynamite. Last week, of course, I was watching GCW Chopper City in the Ghetto, which was a great show. I wrote a review on that. You want to check that out online. But I was also at the same time watching AEW Dynamite on TV. And I did get a chance to see the Butcher and the Blade make their debut with Allie, better known as the Bunny. I was really happy to see this. I've been watching Uncharted Territory since summer, and Butcher and the Blade, in fact, were one of the first tag team matches that I saw upon my return to, actually watching wrestling as a fan. And they've had some consistently good matches. If you want to go back, check them out on YouTube or check them out on IWTV. For anybody that's brand new to Butcher and the Blade, because a lot of people don't follow independent wrestling or they're not really into that scene, and so they got to see two brand new faces, whereas I've been watching these guys for a couple months now and just really love everything about them. So if you're brand new to Butcher and the Blade, yes, please go check them out online and kind of get into them before they get too far into AEW and kind of make their name there, just to see where they came from, because it's really cool to see them come up like that and see him working with Allie. And then also tomorrow on AEW Dynamite, you've got Joey Janela going up and answering the challenge that Jon Moxley had set forth recently. And of course we saw last week on GCW Chopper City where Joey Janela made the appearance and answered that challenge. So that's going to take place tomorrow on Dynamite too. And it's going to be fun to watch that. I'm glad Joey Janela still gets to make his appearances in GCW and do kind of cross-promotional things like that, where you can be on your old show, your old stomping ground, so to speak, and make announcements regarding your new home, your new place, or your new position. So Joey Janela has that kind of clout. I like that. All right, so you got Janela versus Moxley tomorrow. Be interesting to see what the Butcher and the Blade and the Bunny are up to as well. So Dynamite's going to be good. I'm hoping that since I'm going to be on the road, hopefully I'll be in Nashville. I should be in Nashville by the time that Dynamite comes on, so I'll be there to live tweet it and have some fun. On to other things. Tonight, since this is Tuesday, we had AEW Dark and we had NWA Powerrr. Both good episodes. AEW Dark was a good episode. I do want to cover NWA Powerrr and their upcoming pay-per-view, Into the Fire, on December the 14th on Fight TV. And it is so awesome to know that what I was hoping for is actually going to happen. When Jim Cornette stepped down recently, because of all of those events that we all know about. Everybody was wondering who's going to be in his place, who's going to take his place. That's a big place, that's a big position to fill. Well, NWA looks like they've done it. You have to really give them credit for reaching out and getting somebody that they knew would be just, I think, universally accepted. Because what you've got going on is this. You've got Stu Bennett, who's a good friend of mine. I've known this guy for years. And not just, well, of course, as a fan, but I also like to say that I've gotten to know Stu Bennett, just as a fan and as, on a human level, just a really genuinely good guy who deserves a spot like this for, legendary commentary position, NWA, and for their first pay-per-view in a couple of weeks. To have him in that position, to have him back in wrestling is great. Now, that's an excellent thing. And so you've got the perfect replacement for Jim Cornette. You've got Stu Bennett coming in. And the card, NWA Powerrr tonight went back over the card for the show. Solid, really solid card. And you've got so many good names on the Into the Fire pay-per-view. So that's going to be something good on the 14th. I'm looking forward to watching that. And remember, of course, it's going to be on Fight TV. Now, of course, there are not going to be any more new NWA Powerrr episodes until later this month. I think after the pay-per-view, they'll go back to having new shows. So I believe it's next week. They'll have a week off and then back into it after their pay-per-view. So good things for NWA. Good for them. Glad to see it. Also on the indie scene, we've had this run of good luck for indie appearances or indie talent appearing on the big money shows. For example, you've had Chris Statlander on AEW Dynamite last week. And this past week, actually last night, I should say, on Raw, you had Smart Mark Sterling in a match. And, squash match, as they say. But to see a face that you're used to seeing, on uncharted territory every Thursday, that's something huge. And to see them on Raw, in front of thousands upon thousands of people, that's something big. And I know that indie fans, people that have been watching indies for a while and following, and they've seen a lot of their favorites already go up to NXT, and they've seen their favorites go on to AEW, and they've seen their favorites even move to the main roster. They know that feeling of you've seen them before they were big, seeing them where they got started. So yeah, seeing Mark Sterling on Raw, that was big. Looks like it was just a couple of minutes against the Viking Warriors, but even just a couple of minutes, that's something big. A lot of people don't consider that, and they should. Any kind of time that you get on WWE TV or AEW, even if it's just a squash match, or if it's just being in what's his name, No Way Jose, being in the conga line, that's huge. For somebody that's an indie wrestler that's trying to get their name out there, just to have their face recognized just for that moment, that's memorable. And look at how many people we've had, that started out like a Rosebud, back when they had Adam Rose doing his party people, and the Rosebuds would come out, and they've been made into stars since then. So yeah, things like that, and little matches here and there, maybe a dark match, or in this case, something that was live on the air. Those can lead to the bigger things. That's how people get started. You can say you knew them when they were just playing a security guard, or they were a Rosebud. That's good stuff. All right, so yeah, looks like since I'll be on the road, most of this weekend, there will not likely be a Sunday sermon. There might be on Sunday. If I have a little bit of time that morning to post a podcast, I'll be having to drive into Nashville on Sunday from Tullahoma. So it's kind of leaning toward maybe not having a Sunday sermon this week if I can't get one done and up, or maybe a very short one, something that's not too long, something that's, under 10 minutes or so, covering the GCW shows. But just know that you've got a lot of content to expect from me this weekend. Writing for 2 big GCW shows, and the matches for both nights are just looking great. You can tell GCW, whenever they come to an area like Nashville, they book matches that they know that the local fans, they book names that they know the local fans will recognize, and they book matches that, would appeal to people down here, down south, so they know their audience. That's another good thing I like about GCW. They take the time to study the areas and the territories where they go, and to know how to book accordingly. That's an art. That's a skill. All right, so you've got the rest of this week. I will be watching Uncharted Territory from Nashville and doing the review from Nashville on Thursday night. Hopefully have the review up on Friday morning. But it's going to be strange to not be watching Uncharted Territory in my own home turf. Have to hope and rely that I have a really good hotel Wi-Fi connection to get my IWTV up and going. So yeah, I'm going to be traveling, but it's still going to be a good time because I know what I've got ahead of me. I've got GCW this weekend, and it's going to be a blast. Everybody take care.